Hello, good
Yeah,
evening,
go ahead.
everybody. You're welcome
Yeah.
to our program, um, the 500K wedding budget. I believe quite a number of us have been anticipating this moment. You have your questions, you have your reactions, you have your doubts, your curiosity. You want to hear how possible is it really is it feasible, especially within our current economic situation in Nigeria. How possible would it be? Is this budget for just the trad? Is the budget for both trad and white and or church wedding or even the court wedding? With 500, how would 500K cover for everything? How possible? Yes, and that's why we're here to discuss this important subject. And we hope that at the end of this show, you would see reasons or come to agree with us on our position concerning this subject. We would not like to let the cat out of the bag now, so we would like you to continue with the show and try to get some one or two things that could be of help to you, especially if you're yet to get married or you have people around you or yet to get married, because we'll be looking at how we can bring down the budget and discuss the wedding budget in general to an affordable extent. We have panelists on our show this evening who would bring in their own experience and their suggestions to the show so that it could be balanced. We have brothers and sisters, married and single, to balance the various perspectives. We are also from different tribes, so it's going to be a lot beneficial to you if you keep continue in the show. And we promise that it won't be a waste of your time. And we believe God to help you in your wedding or marriage plans as we continue. Praise the Lord. So we welcome you officially to Watchman Young Adult Forum for discussing the 500K wedding budget. And with me on the show is Evangelist Emmanuel Obuna. He's recently married. He married this year, early this year, and so he's going to be bringing out or sharing with us his experience, how he was able to go about his wedding, and also tips that you could as well apply in your case. We have Brother Paul Chibike. He's single, and so he would be um, bringing out the perspective from the single brother's angle as to how possible, because we want to really discuss this matter, wedding budget. We also have Sister Uche Bona, who is as well single. She would also balance, and she's also an event planner, and she's going to double for the event planning as well as the perspective of a single sister. We have two event planners actually, and both of them are sisters. We have another sister, Sister Chisom Okwacha from Oka Diocese. She would as well be bringing her own perspective as an event planner and as well as a single sister. And we have Dr. Promise Okeke, who is also a single brother, and he was going to be bringing his own perspective on board. Myself, my name is Elvis. Recently married, and I will also be bringing my own experience and perspective on board to see how we can go about the 500K wedding budget. So, to my panelists, please can you just indicate so that while we go on, just your name and your diocese while we go on, so we can, for our guests, our online guests can as well follow up with who is speaking. Although I know your names are on there, but just give a brief introduction about yourself. Just your name and your diocese. Dr. Promise, please. Let's start with you.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Promise, and single brother, as he has introduced me as. So I'm going to be contributing my own quota to this 500K wedding budget. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next will be Pastor Emmanuel Bona.
So my name is Emmanuel Ogbonna, and I'm recently married, soon to be a father. I will give my on the 500K wedding budget.
Already a father, actually. It's just waiting for the manifestation. Yeah, so the next person would be Sister Uche, please. Can you just
Okay.
a brief
Good
introduction?
evening, everyone.
Yes.
My name is Obunna Uche. I'm an event planner and a decorator from Lagos Diocese.
Okay. And then Sister, okay, but Chibike, but Paul, please can you introduce yourself? Brother Paul. Okay, I think we lost him. So we'll just go ahead. At the moment, we'd like to dive into the subject matter. And there's a question on my mind, and it says, how much should you spend for your wedding? How much should you spend for your wedding? But promise, let's take you first. How much should you spend from your perspective? What do you think a young man as yourself who wants to get married should spend on your wedding?
Um, how much should a young man spend on his wedding? To answer that
Yes.
question, I believe that every young man has a budget of what he hopes to spend in a wedding or for his wedding. So, and I think that every person who is going to get married as a young man have should spend according to his size. So we can't put it at spend he has to spend 200K. We can't say he has to spend 700K. We can't say he has to spend 10 million. I think he has to spend according to his clothes. So if he has projected that he wants to spend at least a million naira or 10,000 naira or 200,000 naira, then that man should be able to spend that money if he has the money. So that's my own point of view. If he has the money, he should spend the money. If he does not have the money,
Mm,
then he has to cut unnecessary expenses, okay, to fit into his tight budget. So I can't give you a price. If I ask you how much you spend in your wedding now, you give me a rough,
rough
how you may say,
estimate.
Estimate.
Yes.
estimate. Pastor Imam may not be able to tell us exactly what he spent, but he spent money. So I think it should be according to your size. That's my own
Okay.
take. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sister Chisom, while we're introducing ourselves, I think we lost your connection. So please, can you just briefly tell us your name and your diocese? Sister Chisom, can you hear me? Oh, okay. So, okay, Sister Uche, can you please let us know your own perspective regards how much should you spend? How much should someone spend for their wedding?
Okay, my opinion is this. First of all, we are all different people with different purses and different personalities.
Yes.
So it all depends on you. It all depends on an individual. Like you can compare somebody that has 10 million naira in his account to somebody that has 500,000 in his account, and both of them are preparing for wedding. Of course, there needs to be a cutting down of cost to the person that has 500,000 naira compared to the person that has 10 million naira. The person that has 10 million naira can decide to do a 1 million naira budget. The person that has 500,000 naira should know that he or she cannot do a 1 million naira budget because it's actually above him. So it all depends on individuals' pockets. No, there's no static price of a
Okay.
wedding budget that anybody should have. It's that's a general amount that an individual should use for his or her wedding. So it all depends on individual. Individual, your pocket, your account balance should be the best, is in the best position to tell you how much you're to spend for your wedding. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, okay. Um, I'm taking notes though. For the sake of time, Pastor Emma, please. What's your own perspective on that? How much should someone spend for their wedding?
I think that should depend on work, status, personality, and the financial capacity. When I did my wedding, I planned my wedding at my capacity. My capacity may not be another person's capacity. I think it should be according to your capacity and according to what you can afford financially. I think that's my perspective.
Okay. Okay. So apparently everybody is. I think we're all saying the same thing. It boils down to the individual and his financial ability. So in that regard, do you think it's possible to have a 500,000 wedding budget? We are not going to analyze that. We just want to know the possibility. Do you think it's possible to really have a 500k, whether a 500k wedding budget? Dr. Promise, please.
Okay, I think it's possible to. Well, the event planners are going to, based on the current economic um, availabilities we have in Nigeria. I think the event planners will make us, or will help us if it's possible to run a 500k wedding. So as we talked about last time, we said that it's possible to run a 500k wedding. All things being equal, if the church is in support of you, maybe going ahead to do just a church blessing, a very small, what is it called? Very small traditional wedding, and then going ahead to do a church blessing. I think with
Okay.
that, a man should be able to spend less than 500k if that
Okay.
is yeah, if the person decides to go that yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
So,
that's
okay.
all depending on the items on the list and the amount required by the wife's family to be paid as bride price. Though when it
Okay.
comes to
That's
traditional
Okay.
wedding, we can't say for sure because it's you've not married the sister yet. Is I think cutting down of costs should you can do that mostly in the white wedding, but for the trad you can't say for sure how much you should budget. Okay, you can't say for sure, especially when you're married in some communities where we know that it looks as though they are selling their daughter. So You can't say for sure if 500K, if they're going to collect 200K, if they're going to collect 50K. You can't say for sure. But there is something that just dropped into my mind. There's what we call power of negotiation. Power of negotiation. It all depends on how welcoming, how they accepted the brother, and how well the brother can negotiate to be down price on the list. So for the traditional aspects, I can't say for sure that 500K will be able to do a traditional marriage, talk more of the trad and the white wedding, just as we do in the church. We find ourselves in the Watchman Church here, so we can't say for sure. But when it comes to white wedding, we can work with 500K. We can work with 500K. 500K would do like a good, will give you a good, presentable wedding
Okay.
celebration.
Okay. 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 Sorry to interrupt. Apparently, I just wanted to get your direct opinion if it is possible or not. We don't want to go into the analysis of if it's actually possible and if it's not possible. So, from what you're saying so far, you feel it's not possible. Dr. Promise believe it's possible. Very good. So at this point, we'd like to let our viewers know that our audience know that the goal of this program of this show is not necessarily to cap your wedding budget on 500,000 naira. Just cap it there and nothing more, nothing less. But the idea behind this show is to let us know that you can plan your wedding as low as possible, as low as reasonably possible. You can plan your wedding budget as low as possible. And we're going to be looking at how you can achieve that, because we understand that quite a number of persons they're afraid of taking a step because they believe it's going to consume a whole lot of money, and that money they don't have in their account. And so for that reason, it's better they don't just start up the whole program, the whole process, than to go into it and get stuck along the line. So we are really going to look into that and see how we can help to um, demystify that demystify the myth that if you don't have a 1 million naira in your account, if you don't have 2 million naira in your account, if you don't have 10 million naira in your account, you can't do a wedding or more. You can't even do a presentable wedding, whichever way you would like. You can't do a wedding. So we want to demystify the objective of this program is to demystify that myth that until you have at least a 1 million naira in your account, you cannot go ahead to get married. You cannot go ahead and get married. You can't do any of it, either traditionally, or customarily, or by church wedding. You can't do either until you have at least a million naira in your account. So it's two things. We are demystifying that myth, and as well, we are also trying to show how you can really, really cut down costs, practical examples of how you can cut down costs and have a successful wedding ceremony. So in that regard, we would, although we come to the cutting down cost, but we also want to see why do people spend so much on, for their wedding. Burma said something while he was, speaking recently, while he was answering the first question. He talked about status. So there are other reasons, I guess, and we are not sure of your own reason why you feel your own reason why you might feel hesitant to go into your wedding program or your marriage program. So we just want to briefly see why the people spend so much on their wedding. Is it too much to spend a 1 million naira on your wedding? Is it too much to spend 500K on your wedding? Or so, Sister Chisom, can you please just throw some light on that? Why do people spend so much on their wedding? And if we might say, what is so much? You can as well help us define what is so much.
Okay. Coming to that very question, why people spend so much in their wedding, and now giving the word so much a definition, it implies one kind of not placing his hand where it is supposed to be, kind of placing it on a high side to feel among, placing it on a high side to impress people, painting pictures of
Okay.
what they are not in the actual sense. So that's the definition I will give to kind of
Okay.
the so much there.
Okay.
So now coming to the reason behind it, people could just
So
do that.
you're saying, in other words, okay,
Yeah, I'm with you.
okay, please go ahead. Please go ahead. I wasn't hearing you clearly. Please go ahead. Sachiso. Okay.
Seems she's having network issues. Barrister is
Sister
here now.
Uche, network
Okay.
issues, I guess. Okay. So
Okay. I'm here.
we have Barrister on board. Okay. Sister Uche, while we wait for I would wait for Barrister to come online. He's online, but we're not seeing him yet. Sister Uche, can you please tell us why do people spend so much for their wedding, and what would you consider, or how would you define so much? Because I could spend 500K, it could be so much. Another person could spend 100 million, it could be so much. 1 million could be so much. So just throw some light briefly,
Okay.
please.
The term so much there, I can say it to be raising your bars higher than you can jump over. Okay,
Okay,
that means doing what is not convenient for you. That's I can call it so much. Now, why do people spend
okay.
so much for their wedding? Some people think it's a one-time thing to
Mm,
be cherished forever. Unlike the Western culture, now.
Mhm.
So they'll be in their mind, they'll be like, why
mm,
not make it big? So I should be able to make it big. It's just a one-time thing, not considering that that one-time thing probably can put them in a lifetime debt or in a debt of 10
oh,
years and they're still paying. Okay. So
okay,
back to this day, and people feel happy with the beautiful photographs, memories, functions, events they bring on their that happens on their wedding day. That's why some people want to spend. Some people want to see live band perform. Some people want to get dancers, and dancers don't come cheap, especially when they're invited to weddings. So all those things are not really necessary, but a lot of some persons want to go that extra mile because they have this notion that it's a one-time thing, not considering that that one-time event can put them into several months of debt. Okay, now why some others might not
okay,
value such luxury,
okay,
some others might not value such luxury and sentiment just for a day celebration, but choose to invest their money somewhere else. Now, some people might have the money but may not want to spend
okay,
millions in their wedding because of a notion that it's a one day thing. So why should I just throw out money there, and but I can still invest this money and get returns. Some persons also have this notion that wedding is an investment. Hello, wedding is not an investment. They'll be like wedding is an investment, so they will be expecting a return of investment
okay.
that is in the form of
So,
gifts
okay, Bro Paul,
from.
Sister Uche, okay.
Okay.
Network is really bad. It's all right. So
Okay.
okay, I've noted some point like you mentioned, maybe due to status they want to, or a show off, not necessarily
Okay.
status, just like a show off, or they just want to have that hype, that perceived social media hype of
Okay.
having a 5-star kind of wedding or 7-star kind of wedding, and having all kinds of activities going on in the wedding plan. All right, that's fine. Bro Paul, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go
Okay.
ahead, please.
Um, I'll just take you on this, and then we'll move to the next thing. Why do you think people spend so much on their wedding? Just briefly, please. 2 points or
Well,
one at most, at the least, rather.
all right. So I would say
Hello.
I'll talk about the reason why people spend so much. Some people spend so much because they want to be like others.
I think Paul's network is
This
really bad.
other person did
I
this
don't know if it's
and
just
his
me, but
wedding.
we can barely hear him.
So let me do like
Am I
that
correct,
so that
please?
people that came for
Is it just me, or
the
I can't hear you.
please can we hear him audibly?
No.
No. Oh, it's out.
It's off.
Okay, okay. Um,
It's like Elvis started to.
I think bro Elvis is off too. So barrister, please.
Okay, where are we? She's somewhere with
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
all right.
Hmm.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening so much for the month that has been done. Thank you so much for your time. Sister Uche said something just in the last comments that marriage is not or wedding rather
Wedding.
is not an investment. Wedding is not an investment, and that's fine. That's true. But a lot of persons actually see it as investment, and that's why they go all out to go and get loan from the banks and then to sponsor their wedding. Well, if you say wedding is not an investment, what should be the right attitude when you are planning your wedding and when you are considering your expected costs of hosting the wedding? What do you think should be the right attitude? Let me come back now to Sister Uche. What do you think should be the right attitude to when you are planning your wedding and then the expected cost and the rest of that?
Okay. My take is no grown man just was born. Nobody was born grown. Nobody was born and today and he became 30 today. There would have always been a growing process. There would have been a time when the person finished schooling, gets to his 20s. At that stage, the person's mind subconsciously or consciously will be tending towards settling down and marriage. I don't think it would be bad for that person at that time to start, you know, saving towards it. Saving is just like, probably you get okay, as a salary earner, you get paid maybe your salary, your worth of 100K. You can start putting down maybe 10K, keep putting down 10K, 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 10K every month. Then, you know maybe if you intend marrying the next 2 years, that 10K will give you like maybe 240,000 naira. Okay,
Yeah.
that's for somebody that earns 100,000 naira. Okay,
Okay.
now that 240,000 naira now, ideally at this our era, won't be enough. Okay, I can say that. But when that 240,000, the person can use it to do his or his trad. It can go a long way in the trad. Then after the trad, the couple, the man and the wife, can come together and plan how they want their wedding to be. how they want their wedding celebration to be. That's the church
Right.
wedding. If they want to do a Sunday blessing, if they want to do a party, then they'll work towards it. Or the sister brings his or her own and brings her own contribution. Now, we have gone past that era of sisters coming into the ball game and saying that they don't have anything. They also were not born 25. They were not born 26. So there should have been a time in their life before their name was taken to the committee that they would have been thinking that I should be settling down soon. I've come to the age. At that time, they also should be keeping down some change. They should be saving towards their big day. So that's my take on that.
Let me take you on that. Then I'll come back. I'll go to Bro Emmanuel Bona. You have been there looking at us. We can see you. Thank you very much for your time. Now, you talked about using I know it's an example anyway. If I'm earning 100,000 naira and saving 10,000 naira, that's what you mean by 10K, saving 10,000 naira every month, and I save like 2 years, that's 240. Yes, it's far below the 500K budget we are talking about. And then I do my price. And I'm coming to marry a sister, for example, who has nothing to do or is not working. You know, some sisters, I mean to say this, some sisters just come out of the higher institution, and the next thing they want to do is that they want to get married. That's the next certificate they want to get after higher institution. They want to get married. Now, from what you're saying now, you're not encouraging that practice, are you?
Okay. Not that I'm not
encouraging coming out and getting it.
After and now anybody that wants to do that, there's what we call, I've seen some people schooling and still doing a craft that's earning them money, that is giving them money.
Beautiful.
You know, people do that. A lot of persons these days are into such a thing. So that money the person is getting from that craft can also be saved.
Okay.
That money the person is getting from that craft can also be saved. So, in fact, there's no, to me now, I don't see there's any excuse, so to say, for a lady that is up to the age of getting married to come to the table without even a 50,000 naira to support her wedding.
All right. Beautiful. So when you talk about crafts, I'm sure you are talking about handcraft and not witchcraft.
Yes, handcrafts rather. Handcraft, not witchcraft. Thank you. Handcrafts.
Okay. Let's come to Bremano Guna. Bremano, are you there with us? Bremano, are you there? Hello, Bremano, are you there? I think he has gone into. Are you there or you have gone into pre mode activated?
He's there.
He's here.
Okay, you just got married. That should be last year, if I'm not wrong. I want to ask you this question: did you discuss the cost of your wedding during courtship, and if yes, how did you go about it?
Did I cost my wedding during courtship?
Yes.
No, I didn't cost my wedding. When it was time to wed, I planned my wedding.
Okay.
And I did it. I did my costing before the wedding, not during courtship. Courtship was focused on other things, but I planned my wedding ahead of time, like before the wedding, shortly before the wedding. I didn't wait. I didn't start that during courtship. What we planned, what we took time to plan during courtship is the marriage, not the wedding. So I took time to plan my marriage and then left the wedding for the wedding period so that then we focus on it. That's how I went about my own.
Okay, now what I mean by that is this. I know a lot of persons marry or do their wedding by faith. They are marrying by faith in quotes. Now, do you have a budget for your wedding?
Yeah, people marry by faith for those that God spoke to. And of course, we all marry by faith, actually. We all do. But faith has dimensions. So some people went cap in hand in faith to marry, and God did it for them. It worked for them. A number of us did whatever we did that worked in our wedding by faith, and it works for us. But I didn't do my own by faith. I had a budget in mind already, but yeah, I didn't begin the planning based on this or that. I knew that my wedding was not going to be a financially burdensome to me. So I had in mind at least just keep in mind that you are spending so and so amount of money, and then when the time comes, it could be more or less the amount you had in mind. So that's how I basically went about my wedding.
All right. Now, this is back. Can you hear me? Elvis, can you hear me? Oh, it's gone off. I was going to ask Elvis this question because he also belongs to the category of those who just got married. So I'm sure the whole thing is still very fresh. The spending, the logistics, and all of that is still very much fresh. Now, can you tell us how do I do this question now? Is a bit technical. But you see, people invite a lot of persons to their weddings, and I think that's one of the things that increases the costs of hosting a wedding. You want to have your wedding, and you are thinking of inviting the whole world, and you are thinking of feeding the whole world. Now, is it actually possible to make provision for everybody that is to come to your wedding without necessarily overshooting your budget? Remember, Elvis is not there, so I'll come back to you again.
I didn't get the question, please.
I said, is it possible for you to adequately provide for everybody coming to your wedding without necessarily overshooting your budget? Knowing that that is one of the things that increases the cost of hosting the wedding.
Well, like I said at the beginning, it is possible to actually do that. People overshoot based on people overshoot their budget based on the people they are expecting. Of course, if you invite the whole world, it means that you were prepared for the whole world. That's why you told them to come.
Okay. Wow. I guess the network is actually very bad tonight.
So whatever the extra costs that will be involved. Yeah, can I proceed?
Yes, please.
So I was saying that somebody can actually overshoot his budget, maybe based on maybe wanting to satisfy the whole world. Yes, you can, and you took up the responsibility, because if you are inviting the whole world to come to a wedding, it means that you are prepared for them. You have it in mind to entertain your guests. They are your guests now. So it shouldn't be a problem if you overshoot. People actually do that. It happens a lot. So if you go to invite the whole world, it means that you are ready for them to entertain them. And if it means overshooting the budget, you can.
All right. Brent speaking, are you live? Can you hear us? This is serious. Okay, I'm coming back to you. But before then, I need you and Doctor to answer this question. You and Doctor are going to answer this question, okay? Even though you're not married yet, but I want to put you side by side, okay? Now, some people believe that you cannot save money for wedding. You mentioned earlier that if you are earning 100,000, for example, you can save like 10K every month, which is fine. But what are the other ways if you don't, like the sister now, if you are not being able to save any money for your wedding, what are the other ways that you can prepare for your wedding as a sister? That's for you. Then for doctor, yes, you're not married yet, but what are the other ways you can prepare for your wedding as a man? So who goes first?
Um,
Okay.
ladies first.
Okay. All right. The ways a lady can prepare, a sister can prepare for the wedding is by picking some, from time to time, you start picking some items, some household items, some things that you feel that you will need in your home, things you feel you will need that you can't do without when you're getting married. You can go as far as, getting good underwear you're going to use, getting, bags. Not when it's time for the wedding, you start saying, I don't have bags to pack my things in my husband's house. No. Start picking them one by one. Those are ways of preparing. You get the bag today, tomorrow you're getting maybe a shoe, or you're getting a pot, or you're getting a gas stove tomorrow. It's not when it's that time. So you buy it and keep until it's now the time for your wedding. I think those are ways of preparing also. You buy this material, you keep it. Not when you enter your husband's house now, you keep wearing old clothes and people will start looking at them like, you just married, you still wear your old clothes. How far now? So all those things are ways of preparing. It's not when it's that time for wedding now, everything will not be on the man. Boom. I need money to buy clothes. What of the clothes we wear for Thanksgiving? What of the clothes we wear this? What of the, no, it's part of the planning. Requires the sister, picking some personal items that a newly married sister should have. And the newly married sister is not expected to, you marry today, the next morning we are seeing you looking, not looking good, not looking glowy, not glowing rather. So all those things are also ways of preparing. A sister can prepare for marriage, so to say. That's all I can say for now.
You are talking about preparing for marriage. You are talking about preparing for wedding. How
All
can
those
a
things are
single sister
still
prepare
what
for wedding?
wedding will need. Because,
No,
sir,
wedding will not need it. Wedding will not need it. We are talking about what you are going to do
wedding we
in the
need it.
ceremony. Ceremony.
So the
Bag
wedding will
that they are
Okay.
need
using to put their
all
clothes.
those things
The
she's
bag they are
saving.
using
She
to
will,
put their clothes
she
to
will
their
sell
husband's
them.
house. Is it part of the wedding arrangement? Is it part of the wedding budget?
Grandma, she wants the sisters to sell the things to sell it before when they get money.
Because if they don't do that on time, when it comes to wedding, they will still put that, factor that as part of the wedding budget. Yes, when the sister is buying her wedding clothes, she will start considering the one she will wear for Thanksgiving. But if she had done that earlier, it shouldn't be factored in it. We are women, we know how to, infuse things and make them, put this on, support it, take from here to here. But if she has done that earlier, it would have been gone. There won't be need for it again.
Okay.
Okay, Doc
Uh,
now. Doc, go on.
so for me, as the man, I think it will always border around money. It's the man that has to bring the money. He's the one that has to get the money, pay for whatever has to be paid for. So it's not far fetched. He has to save money. Okay, now it's not every man that may need to save money, because some of them are just there are some businessmen that don't really need to save money, so they always have the money at hand. I don't really need to save money. So a man who is preparing for wedding, I think it's needed for him to put the money aside. Okay, whether it's through an investment plan, okay, uh, saving money, or invest in a bigger business that brings back huge returns, to be able to sponsor his wedding. So the man is the main sponsor of his wedding, and if no matter how we go around this, he must go around, save money or get money from his business to, foot his wedding.
Bills.
So I think, yeah, that's how it has to be done. Though some people, I have had friends who, prior to their wedding, they had to add me to a WhatsApp group. We call the name of the group Committee of Friends. Okay, and they have a friend who mans the group, and that friend will be responsible for, garnering support of other people to do what, contribute one thing or the other towards the success of his wedding. That one day too, okay, through committee of friends. But we can't depend on committee of friends to run your wedding. So, but that's a means through which I believe that uh, some people get money to to sponsor their wedding. That's my own contribution on that. Too. I don't know. Okay,
I have Doc, I have a perspective on this.
okay,
Looking at a typical Nigerian society, eh,
yes, sir.
above and beyond saving, let me say this.
Yes, sir.
If you are one of the people that make savings or that would depend on savings to finance your wedding in a typical Nigerian setting, and you have um, you have a good number of mouths to feed and a number of people to entertain, and you think that you can save money to do wedding in this part of our world, I think it's a lie. You can never wait. Now, I'm giving you a holistic perspective from
O-
from a different angle altogether. You
Okay.
see, this one is talking save your 10,000. You can see that the 10,000 didn't even hit the 500K.
That's for 2 years.
40,000.
But you can do for 5 years.
Abba now. Let's
5 years. See, my dear, with the way Nigeria, has been unpredictable. Nigeria, you are not sure of that one in 5 years' time. I'm telling you the truth. The Nigeria government, don't even trust themselves. Talk less of you trusting Nigeria. The policy of government. Okay, let me say this. I brought out some huge amount of money to make an investment to bring in goods. So I partnered with somebody to bring in goods from Dubai. Now, then from Dubai and from what do you call it, Benin Republic here nearby. Now we have bought the goods, and the goods were already in the truck to now move into Nigeria, and then they close the border. Bam. Now, if I've been saving for 5 years before then, now in the process of looking, running around, Elvis is laughing. Elvis, calm down. In the process of running around to pay my goods from the custom and or maybe to do this or do that. Now, the goods that I had in the vehicle got spoiled and none to be sold. It was disposed.
Hmm.
Eventually, when we made arrangements to bring it in by whichever way, they eventually impounded go until today. That money is gone. So if I was depending on that money to do my wedding, you can see now that the Nigeria government and their imperialism and their madness have set me back now. Am I right? So
Yeah.
sometimes in a typical Nigerian setting, depending on the level anyway, this is subjective to your social level, your social status and your profile. Now, it is not easy to do wedding purely by savings, because the state of Nigeria economy now is quite unstable and unpredictable, and there are no good jobs that can afford you. Okay, just imagine, Uche said 10,000 for a month. If you save 10,000 for 2 years, you have gotten 240,000. You save for 3 years, you have gotten 360. You save for 4 years, you have gotten 480. Even in 4 years, you have not hit the 500k mark. So it now brings you to the point of at least looking for your friends, and then going to solicit help from your friends and all that, so that they can contribute to your wedding, including the woman that wants to wed. Including the woman that wants to wed, you will not keep quiet. You have to move.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Bro Paul, are you there? Can you hear me? Bro Paul Chibike, can you hear me? Bro Paul Chibike, can you hear me? Bro Paul, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can
Yes, I
hear
can
you.
hear you. I think
Uh,
Yes, we can hear you. I hear you.
oh, okay, okay. So, bro Elvis, I think we should get back
yes,
to
sir.
you also. You should also tell us the ways or the means through which a man should be able to get money to sponsor his wedding. Maybe you tell us what you did, and maybe people out there can listen to you and follow your pattern, whether you're dependent on friends or whatever. So we are listening to you, sir.
Okay, sir. So, primarily, as believers, uh, we have to start with faith. I remember a friend who I bested told me that as at the time he was it for his traditional or so, or was at the marriage committee or so, something like that, that
Okay.
all he had in his account was not up to 150,000. That was in 2018, 2019. 2019, I guess. Yes, 2019. And what he had was not up to 120, 150,000 thereabout, or probably less than 100,000. And but he knew he had that persuasion to go ahead, and he went ahead. He's wedded, living comfortably, happily married, having his child, and they are moving forward. The rest is story. The rest is history, rather. So I just had to go through that to say, firstly, as believers, we move by faith. Now, I heard Brahma talking about savings, likewise, Sister Uche talking about savings. I actually don't also believe or agree that, except like he said, depending on it's relative. But looking at our own a general overview at a majority of persons who fall into the middle class or below the middle class, your savings, your personal savings might not be sufficient because you have other responsibilities that are beckoning on you on a daily and monthly basis. So you might not be able to save so much to the point that within the space of 1 year, you've raised ₦1 million. Moreover, how much is your salary? So yes, it's good to save, but I think making investments might be better off than just saving because you have something in return on your say on your capital. So that's
Okay.
a better way of doing your savings than just keeping it in the bank. It's looking at you and looking at it. That way you'll be tempted a lot to always go back there to solve one issue or the other. So that aside, um, personally, I would say yes, I had savings. Yes, I had savings. No, yes, and I was still working. I So I was receiving salary. It has been progressed. But the long and short of it is, when I go back in
Sister
retrospect,
Uchi, your
I could tell you that my savings was not sufficient to bear the cost of the wedding. Yeah, the savings wasn't sufficient. I'm just That's my own story. It could be different for someone else depending on how much you earn and or how much you make on a monthly basis.
okay,
But my
okay,
savings was not sufficient to bear the cost.
of
So,
the
but
wedding.
that's where faith comes in to balance it up. And the thing is, as we began to progress, um, ideas came. Yes, I did something like committee of friends, and they did their best. Actually, the economy is bad, but even beyond that, still, I'm not going to give you figures, but I'm just saying this to be as practical as possible. Beyond the
Okay,
committee of friends, still, it wasn't still sufficient to bear the entire cost. So, but those were ways that God used to, sponsor what He initiated. And I had my savings, I had my continuous in my, like I said, I was earning my salary across during the period. So even what
okay,
I get from the month still goes into it in spite of my savings. And
yeah,
but largely, like I would say, um, I think God used more of helpers. Yeah, I would put it that way, that God sent me helpers using
Better
different sources.
external assistance, external help, right? Yes, God use
Yes,
people
external help.
externally.
Internal help
Yes,
too. Family members,
it,
of course, and
yeah, it's
friends,
difficult
family
to
members,
wed
and
in
like
such
that.
in this
So
Nigeria without external help. It's difficult.
all by yourself. Yes, all by
Yes, it's difficult.
yourself. It's even if you want to do a multi-million wedding, doing it all by yourself is
Yes,
almost it's
yeah,
not advisable, because at that
okay,
level of at that status, you'll have your family people, you have friends who will also come in and say, okay, we're taking care of this, we're taking care of that. So, but to
yeah.
say just you just want to spend, you want to take care of everything A to Z all by yourself, it's not feasible at all. Across cadres, across various classes of social classes, it's not feasible. So external help
And
is very, very important. Yes, sir.
and that is why we need to advise our ladies. Ladies,
Shadi,
I buy into
Saima,
this idea.
we'll come to that.
Okay,
Yes, we'll come to that.
Okay.
So I want to
So
just say this.
I
Okay,
wasn't done. Sorry. I saw Brahma raising his hand, so I had to wait. So external help, yes, and I was saying that the help came externally, family, friends, and all of that. But more importantly, in general, like I would say, faith played a long role, a huge role in that, because the sources that you would even think, something will come from here, this person is
yeah,
going to do this much. Sometimes it doesn't end up like that. It's rather the areas you probably did not even expect help to come from. That's where help came from. But also, in addition to what I just said, it's raising fund is one thing. Also, cutting cost is another way of, I think, like a backdoor way of raising funds. Because if, for instance, the list for my traditional wedding, for instance, I'm giving an arbitrary figure, it's 500,000 naira. That means I have to raise 500,000 naira to meet the demands of that list. But if with the help of my wife or the help of the sister, you're able to cut down that list to 200,000 naira, that's a whole lot of 300,000 naira out of your neck. So that way, it still borders on, that's another way of, I would say, raising fund, although in the negative, you're cutting down the
we'll,
cost of
we'll come there. We'll come there.
the event. Yes. So that's my experience. Thank you, sir.
Let's move on quickly from that, from this particular question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, okay. So, like I said, somebody shared, talked about a wedding that happened in a particular diocese. After the courtship, okay, after the courtship, something happened to the brother's business. Kind of, he was sacked from work, and after he was sacked, he wasn't able. Sorry, yeah, he was able to do the traditional wedding. But after the traditional wedding, he was sacked, and he was not able to do the white wedding immediately. And so he had to plead with the sister, say, please, let us go for marriage blessing so that we will not have to spend much since he can't afford doing the kind of big wedding that he wants, that she wants to do. We had it's on note that the sister had to do what? Refused, that she can't go ahead to do marriage blessing, that it must be that her big wedding in quotes, which she has in her head. It must be ceremony party, not a church blessing. And this delayed the white wedding for about 2 years. The brother became stable, and then that was when they now. So with this, there are many sisters out there who have seen, there are many blogs out there, perhaps on Facebook, and sisters have seen, oh, magnificent wedding gowns, beautiful bride, beautiful shoes, beautiful bags, and all that. And so many of our sisters attend weddings and they see a lot of flashy, flashy stuffs in those weddings. So after they leave such weddings, they're like, I want my own to be like this too. And then if Raw comes and discovers that something happened, but his money is unable to sponsor or to cater for all that the sister wants. At this point, what is he supposed to do? Now, my question is to our sister Obona. Bro Paul, I hope you are here and your network is stable for you to help us answer the question. Pastor Emma, I think you also have a role to play here. What is going to be the role of the sister in the wedding? Okay, should sisters continue to compare one wedding to the other? And must they have that big wedding in their mind? There are many of them who are out there, and many of them or some of them don't think or do not understand that wedding is different from marriage. Wedding is only something, but they are under the guise, under this mentality that it is a one day something, and because it's a one day something, it must be memorable. I must remember it. We must, make a mark. And so they try to break the brother's hand, and all that, and he spends and goes in debt. So I want to know, you must have something to say. What's going to be the role of the sister? How should she be supportive for a brother who does not have up to 1 million naira, for instance, to spend on white wedding or traditional wedding? What should be the role of the sister? What should she do? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sis, before I go on, I'll say, sisters, praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Like seriously, nobody is being paid. Nobody gets award for the best wedding celebration. Nobody's giving anybody award for the highest, for the most expensive wedding celebration. No, there's no award for such. I've not seen. So I don't know why we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves. First of all, from what you just narrated, Doctor, you said that the brother, I mean, this couple, they've done their trad, and I guess that they also did the celebration there. There was party, right? Hello, Doc.
Hello, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
I said, was
Yes,
there
I'm
a
here.
party to that for that
Yeah, that,
tradition for that trad?
Well, yes, 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 yes.
Okay, fine. So what does this sister really want again? Like it does she want to give the brother a high blood pressure? I'm sorry to say, but that's how it looks and that's how it sounds. Because for a brother to have done pay the bride price and done some celebration for you at this point, what you're meant to do is, try to be supportive in the sense that just go for a church blessing. If you still want the picture, you can just get a proper wedding, do your wedding dress. At least for that sister that wants a big party, you should have your own little savings too. Get a
Okay.
beautiful wedding dress, get it done. You don't need the celebration at this point
Okay.
because it's marriage. What really matters is the marriage. Now, if you're starting the marriage like if it's not this amount of money, if it's not this way, it's it can't be possible. I don't think if I'm a brother, I would like that. Okay, so the sister, as a sister, you're meant to, reason along, calm down, go for church blessing, Sunday church blessing in your church. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, and it's not a crime. It doesn't mean that you are the poorest person. I don't know why people see that kind of notion to it. I think it's the Nigerian mentality,
Okay.
and we should try to remove that from us. Also, you can do a church blessing. The best you can do is to get a wedding decorator. Discuss, have a heart talk with her. Like, I'm a wedding decorator. There's somebody that walked up to me one of the days and said, okay, this. I don't want to do a wedding decor decoration. I just want a picture area, just to cut cost. Now,
Okay.
this person didn't use a wedding hall. She just, did a picture area. So, and
Okay.
the pictures were beautiful. It still looked as though they did a proper wedding because the
Okay.
pictures were colorful. So I don't
Okay.
see reasons why sisters these days want it to be done that way. No, nobody is giving you award for having the most expensive wedding. I don't. That is not it at all. So as sisters, we should try to be understanding. Money is not easy to come by. Now it's bad enough that the brother, lost his job, and you're trying to put more pressure on him to do that your high class wedding. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a fair one. So as sisters,
Okay.
we should try to be realistic. Sunday church blessing is not a crime. I've
Okay.
seen in a parish in Lagos diocese where somebody did a Sunday blessing, and after doing the Sunday blessing, the person just cooked about 2-3 coolers of rice and I think 4-5 cartons of drink and shared few people that came around. At that point, you don't need to invite the whole world. Just do it. It's even good enough that you've even done the traditional celebration, which you can also always remember and call back on. Seeing the pictures. So this one shouldn't be a case. Shouldn't be
Okay.
a case at all. The main thing is the handing over. So okay,
Okay.
I think I should stop here for now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Pastor Emma wants to say something. So you have the floor.
Um, what I have to say is this: any sister who doesn't want to get involved in planning the wedding, contributing her own quota in the wedding expenses, should be able. If you are not able to contribute financially to the wedding, you should be able to assist the brother to cut costs. Assist the brother to cut costs. Starting from when the list is brought by your family, you should be able to mediate between your in-laws, your would-be in-laws, and your own family to help the brother to cut costs, to reduce the cost of the list. That's one. Secondly, an average sister, because sometimes I look at all this and it is irritating to see that a sister is getting wedded and
Mm.
cannot be able to even buy her own shoes, her wedding shoes. I mean, her wedding shoes. We're not talking about the wedding dress. Her wedding shoes. Okay, if brother now buys the wedding shoes and buys the material, sister cannot pay tailor. You can't pay the
Okay.
designer that designs the clothes. Brother will buy the gown brother will buy the shoe, brother will do everything and all that. And yet you expect this brother, if the brother has any reason now to say, okay, I don't want to do an elaborate wedding, I just want us to go to the church on a Sunday and they bless us and all that. And the same sister will say, no, 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 no. My it is a shame, it's going to be this and that. That person is not right. That person is not ready for marriage. That person, a sister, I expect that a sister who is getting married should be able to contribute at least on the area of her wears for the wedding, the wedding gown, the footwear, the shoes, and other wedding accessories. At least clothe herself for the wedding. At least, sisters, at least clothe yourself for the wedding. At least buy your wedding gown, make it your shoes, your bag, and all the accessories you need, the bouquet and what have you. You should be able to do that. Bro is paying for the hall. Bro he's just trying to recover from the traditional marriage expenses, the list and the all the bobo tibo. Now you want to put these other ones on him. It is unfair. I expect sisters, take care of what you wear. Take care of what you wear on your wedding. For now, let me stop there. For now.
Okay. Well, Chibike, do you have any inputs?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go
Yes.
ahead.
All right. So when I heard the story, I needed to laugh actually because covered that on live in the now as a different equation. Maybe she was thinking of her friend, thinking of what her friends will say, getting a million, having eyebrow, eye class, giving getting a million. Meanwhile, if she's actually high class, she's supposed to, I mean, drop some money to the table so that the wedding can happen. So if you ask me, the role of sisters in helping out to cut costs,
Yeah.
um, sisters should actually help their men. Sisters should actually help them. There are some, even the man is so well to do, there are some things that are not necessary. There are some things that are not necessary to spend it. Some people will pressure their mom to even buy things for their friends, apart from their family, buy for their friends, all these high class systems. But for me, I think that what makes me think about is after the wedding, after the wedding, after the marriage, the new marriage. If there is no money, if there is no money during the marriage, you regret it. If after the wedding you spend everything you have, then get ready to bring garri. That is there is garri. So the situation of Nigeria now, so Nigerian economy is so high that it is so
Everyone.
expensive. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Right.
you. Go ahead.
All right. So I think sisters are to help their men in cutting costs. Don't give him unnecessary pressure. Because the kind of pressure you feel is because your friend did this. I would buy what said. She talked about picture area. For me, social media, some of the weddings you're seeing of social media, as a result of social media, people will find things not very well, and they will post it on social media. You'll be dying. Some of the weddings you did not attend, but you want your own to be done. If you want to prepare people about preparing association or preparing dance, go and do your picture area or go to one particular place. If it is the hotel, stay for one particular thing. Have good picture. Don't sit on the social media and then other friends will be perfect. But I don't think all about that. This is marriage you are talking about. After wedding comes the marriage. If money no dey after the wedding, people will drink garri. Like I said, Nigeria now, the cost of garri is even too much. So I feel they should help their men and not put them under pressure. So that it's possible for a man to hate his wife after wedding. because of the pressure she has put in. After the wedding, sees that there is no money, and then hatred from nowhere will come. So I plead with sisters, don't think that because the other person did this, because the other person, I want to please my friends, I want to do, don't think that your friends. Let two people, two lovely people, and not about husband, wife, and friend. So that's all I'll say.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for that contribution. I don't know if Sister Uche, do you have any other thing to contribute to this before
Um,
I move on to something else?
those are fantastic contributions. So it's left for the sisters and every sister hearing this and seeing this, you know, to stop this pressure. And these things are one of the things that are, giving some single brothers concern. That's why they are, dragging their feet backwards and all that. So we
Many
as
brothers,
sisters,
many brothers are scared to get married because of the kind of pressure that sisters bring to the table. I mean, I
yes,
am a minister, counselor. If I tell you the level of pressure that sisters and this their entitlement mentality, you have to do this. You don't have the right, sister. Hear this. Let me say this before we move on. You don't have the right to tell the brother that you have to sew clothes for my father and sew clothes for my mother and sew for my siblings. I am asking you, they are married. What is your family contributing to the wedding? When you marry somebody that has the money to do that on his own freely, if he comes into a family and sees that they are unable, he can assist. But there is no rule. Even when I was getting married, I told my wife this because we got into discussion and we are talking. There is no
Okay,
rule anywhere that says that if you are getting married to a lady, you will clothe her parents, clothe her siblings, clothe the whole generation. There is no rule anywhere that you must clothe the generation of your in-laws before you get married to the lady. In other places, because these things have to do with culture also, because some cultures, the family have a lot of contribution. The family of the lady, they cook and they come. They do the ashebi and they come. They don't force it on the in-law. But
okay.
those of us from the
Igbo.
southeastern part of Nigeria, the Igbos, this one is for you. Sister, brother, please don't kill yourself. There is no law anywhere. I collected lists from my in-laws. There's nowhere anywhere they wrote it that I have to clothe them. Whatever that you want to do, you do out of your free will. Don't allow any sister to tell you that you have to clothe my family if you want to marry me. Oga, if the sister give you that kind of condition, that person is not a marriageable person. Maybe God is giving you opportunity to think twice to know what you are doing before you move forward and move into trouble. Oh,
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So at this point, we now understand, sisters. We have tried to make it clear that for you to understand that you have a role to play in making your wedding a success. In one of the groups, a sister said, among the list they brought, her mother said she wanted, some rappers. If it is not this amount of rappers that the man, if it's not this amount of or this number of rappers, kind of the wedding will not go on. But the sister said she had to tell her mother, "Mommy, now I beg, let us buy cheaper rappers for you. It must not be this George, it must not be this expensive type." So the sister helped to cut the cost for her husband. Now, just to chip it in, the brothers also have a role. I think at this point, let's just go into the comment section. I'm going to highlight it. Okay, somebody is saying something here. We're in the comment section now. He's saying both the brother and the sister must be honest and sincere to themselves, especially in this area of budget. No matter the way one throws his or her wedding, it can never be the best. Not going to borrow money to do the wedding. So, from what this person says now, we can see that sincerity on the part of the brother is very paramount. I understand that some brothers want to impress. Some brothers want to impress the sister, and so they are not honest with their budget, account, and all that. I don't know. I'm sure the panel may have something to say on this. I don't know if you have something to say. Let's hear from you, Obona Uchi. Let's start from you. Do you have
I
anything to
I
say?
I said
Yeah.
it before that nobody, there's no rule anywhere, and nobody is giving anybody award for the best wedding. So there's no need throwing away money or look borrowing money for your wedding.
Okay. So sincerity is very important here. Pastor, I don't know if you have something to say on this particular comment.
Yes. When I went to do my uh, the first time I went to have my introduction and to discuss
Okay.
the list with my in-laws, the first question that the pastors there that guided me asked was, "What is my budget?" Then I told them that my budget, we fall, we come out based on what the list brings,
Okay.
but that I am not spending, I am not looking for to spend anything beyond this, and that my target is between so and so and so.
Okay.
Now, what they told me is this. They said, bro, we know that you are a big man. We know that you are a big man, but no matter the kind of money you have in your bank, we will not allow you to spend it here. Are you getting
Um,
it?
yes, sir.
We will not allow you to spend it here, because if we allow you to spend it here, when another person from the church wants to marry in the same community or in the same family, and then you spend too much, it will become a terrible precedence when another person comes. The villagers or the Ndumona, we want to stand on that.
Okay.
So honesty must come. I pity some brothers. I pity you. A brother, you are portraying yourself as Odogu, and then you are living in somebody's flat in one room. Somebody managed to give you one room in somebody's flat, and then you told sister, I am living in a 3-bedroom flat. Sister upgraded you already. She has gone to tell her parents and her family that my husband to be is living in a 3-bedroom flat. And when it comes to spending money, they will give you the bill of being a 3-bedroom flat,
Bedroom flat, true, sir.
because you are not honest. You are packaging. How can a Christian brother be packaging? What is the packaging about? Just to marry? Be honest. The person that wrote that comment there, I think I support you. Some brothers are not honest. They are doing it in the name of love. Love is not love. It is berberism. It's not love.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And the person said brothers should avoid going to borrow money to do their wedding. Okay. Somebody is saying here it doesn't matter what people think. Do what you think is good for you and your partner. Another person.
I have something to, please go back to that one.
Okay.
If say
Okay.
do what is good for you and your partner. Do you know that sometimes what is good for you may not be good for your partner?
True, sir.
That is the irony. That is the irony of it. What is good for you may not be good for your partner. If you are
Yeah.
if you are
So
if you are getting
how do
married,
they?
if you are getting married to somebody who doesn't think that your judgment is okay, the person you may not be getting into a marriage. You are going to get into
Oh my
manage,
goodness.
not marriage.
Okay, manage. Okay, sir. All right.
Manage instead of marriage.
So I hope the person who wrote that comment can hear that we are in support. So another person comment section says borrowing money for wedding should stop. Sisters, reason well with your man. Borrowing money for wedding should be a big sin. Sometime to pay it becomes a problem. So I think we have talked on this. Borrowing money, men, brothers should not be encouraged to go and borrow
No, at
money,
all.
yeah,
At
At
all.
all.
especially when they know it's going to accumulate so much debt for them.
Yes,
Okay.
they should not borrow money. Walk with faith. We are talking as believers now. With the little resource you have, with a little cooperation with your wife to be, then walk in faith. God will make everything come true for you. Don't borrow money.
Even
Okay.
If you
some people
don't have
don't
faith,
even
if you
borrow
don't have
money.
faith,
What
if
they
you don't
do
have faith,
is, they owe the vendors. They owe the vendors.
aha,
You
there
know,
you are. There
yes,
you are.
they owe the vendors. So when you're ready, try as much as you can, to pay off every person you're using. Is it the decorator? Make sure you pay the hall. You paid the the chef,
The video person,
the
the camera.
video. Make sure you paid the cameraman. Like there was a wedding that I decorated. I told myself I was not going to do that kind of a job again. Now this couple said, okay, I should help them decorate the hall. Okay, they paid me some part of the money, and at the that after their wedding, they were going to pay me back. They were
Okay.
going to pay me, hoping on the monetary gift they will get from the guests. But
Mm,
not I didn't know that I wasn't the only one that they gave that story. They also gave that story to the MC. They also told that thing to the DJ. They've not paid the DJ, they've not paid the MC, and likewise myself. So we are just so much waiting for the money, and the money that they got as the monetary gift wasn't enough to pay off. I had to just go that day without collecting my balance. Then it took weeks before I was able to get back my balance. So we should also try as much as we can, to pay up all this, not to start hoping on monetary gifts that we have not, received. Like we said before, wedding is not an investment.
okay.
It's not an
Wedding is
investment.
not
I
an
I beg to
investment.
differ.
Okay.
I
Let's
beg
hear
Okay.
to
you.
differ.
Okay. Let's.
I have a different perspective to it.
Let's hear you,
Okay.
sir.
Let's hear your
For
opinion,
a
sir.
typical trader in Nigeria, especially a typical Igbo man in Idumota, Trade Fair, Balogu, or Chanja Market, and all the
Okay.
places, who is very active with his neighbors, who is active on the union. There are incentives that the market union give to members,
True,
right?
sir. Yeah.
Now, when you call committee of friends from your colleagues in the place of business, even some people go as far as even going to borrow money. They borrow money to host that committee of friends. You know why? The way you host them is a guarantee of the outcome of that committee of friends. I'm
True.
talking by knowledge.
Yeah, true.
Now, when you host them finish, even if you are getting married to a believer after the church finish their thing, the market people have their own stands where they are waiting for you. When you are coming out of the hall, they are coming to welcome you. Say, "Oh, yeah, come, let us honor you now. You honored
Mm,
us. We want to honor you." And I tell you, by far, what the market people do most times is times 10 and times 20 or times 50 of what your brethren did in the church. So, so many people go as far as borrowing money to host that committee, to host the union, to invite them properly from the chairman to whosoever, so that they can mobilize the people from the line or from the plaza to come. And once they come there, you are sure that you are going with something. So to those people, it's that whatever money they put into invitation and spending for drinks what do you call it? The wine you used to invite. Sometimes they do chicken and pepper it just to tantalize the committee of friends
Mm.
from the market and all that. They actually get it most of the times when you are active in the market as a trader
Most
and they know you well. Um, for those people,
most
it is an investment for them.
for them. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's not certain that they realize all the money through those market people. I can't agree with you on that, that they realize all the money that they spend through those
You are not a
set of
trader. You
people.
are not a trader. You are not a trader.
Okay. Um, let's quickly move on.
And,
Somebody say that
okay.
it can be that the brother wants glamour too, not only sisters. It can be that the
Mm,
brother also wants his wedding to be a very big one. Not
mm,
just the sister. So, brother, if I think uh, there are brothers who want their weddings to be big, wonderful, look classy, and all that, and don't want a small wedding. Shebi na money killer, better soup na money killer.
Oh, oh, oh.
mm.
Oh, but told you, oh, no, ma.
Ọbẹ̀ tó dùn, owó ló
Eh,
pa.
so such a
If
brother,
you want to get ready for your money.
Yeah, get
so
ready for your money, and also you can skip doing the trad elaborate trad celebration, and save the major celebration for your wedding. That's another
okay,
way of saving costs in that aspect.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. In-house traditional marriage, and then you do the
Yes,
elaborate wedding.
yes.
in-house traditional
So,
wedding and an
can you hear
elaborate.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Paul. Bro, Paul.
Thank you. All right, so I have heard everything that was said. I think in that line, we are not trying to say that if you have the money to actually do something, that what you have, check your budget. If you want a glamorous, I believe you have a glamorous money to fit that. Just like we said, borrowing might keep you on that side. Even as a trader, there are traders that even after borrowing to feed other people, guide people, in fact, the money they got from that, all the things they borrowed, they debate on we are going to do this, we are going to do that. The only thing that you tell me, like I know someone who actually invited so many people, like he is in so many unions. I'm not talking of the church now. He's in so many unions. I was part of the people that counted his money. He got up to the one I counted, apart from the one that went to his account, up to 800,000 naira. That one is someone that is in different union. So, but what we are saying is, please, as much as you can, cut your cloak according to your size so that you don't cry foul tomorrow or put somebody's daughter into life. That's all. Those your own you will come and then begin to lie. It's not around. Meanwhile, you're under the bed. So please, let's try to cut
Okay,
our cloak according to ourselves. That's all I
okay.
want to say.
Thank you very much. There is a comment here, a very long one. The contributors say one of the greatest problems of brothers when it comes to wedding is that they themselves have not sown seeds in people's lives. Many of our brothers say they themselves have not sown seeds in people's lives. Many of our brothers are passive participants in most weddings and not active participants. What I mean by passive participants is that they do not contribute their services or financial contributions to other people's lives and wedding. As a result of that, when it comes to their own wedding, the law of sowing and reaping comes to play to weddings only. Active participation in people's life is also important. Just so that we see ourselves. I'm sure we understand what this part is saying. what the comment contributor is
Yes.
saying. Persons don't
Yeah.
actively participate. I don't know if you have anything to say on that. Let's hear that. Let's.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I have something to say.
So I think
You know,
okay.
um,
Okay,
now
Pastor Mark, go
there
for
is a saying that goes that what goes around comes around. Whatsoever a man sows, he will reap.
it. Yes,
You know they follow the wash, you know they follow the clean hall, you know follow arrange chair, you know follow render service. Neither did you contribute your money. And then when it is your turn, you expect the whole world to turn out for you. Now like, I have seen where it happened. A brother doesn't go to wedding.
Exactly.
A brother doesn't go anywhere. Eh? I have,
okay,
in fact, he doesn't go to people's wedding. He's a minister. Oh. They like him. Oh. They know him. Oh. But he doesn't go to wedding. Doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't meet anybody for anything. And all that. He just in his own world. On the day of his wedding, while he was planning
yes,
for his wedding, Nami writes. Nami be the epistle writer. I became a scribe, writing letters to different people, begging money on his behalf, just to save his face. Just to save his face. I was writing letter everywhere, begging people. At a point, they got offended. And they say, if it is you now, we don't have to beg this person. He doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. And now you wanted to give him. I say, please, for my sake, give him. Now, what he's supposed to get from those people, if the people we are supposed to, come out en mass and support him financially and what have you, now he got very, very tiny, very, very
okay,
tiny. So I believe that statement, that comment is true. But it happens. It happens. When you celebrate with
Yeah,
others, they will celebrate with you.
mm.
yeah.
Sister Uche, you have anything to say on that?
Like I've seen such cases. There was a day I was to decorate a hall. I got to the hall. Throughout walking there, I didn't see one person, like from either the sister or the brother that came to the hall and say, "How are we preparing? What's happening?" I didn't see anybody. Then
Hmm.
I began to ask questions, and I got to know that this person doesn't attend people's wedding, doesn't go for functions. So it's a normal thing. If you don't attend people's function, you don't expect them to come out in mass to support you when you're doing wedding, both financially and in kindness. So that's true.
Okay. Bro Paul, do you have anything to say on that too?
Yes, someone told me of a brother who every time he does not attend weddings. So if he attends, if there's anyone he attends, he will just come to the door and leave. And on his wedding day, that was what people do. Nobody planned it. It just happened like that. So, and then
Hmm.
the other story I shared, I forgot to say that that person that got that kind of amount, I knew him personally. If he attends your wedding, he put a fat envelope, a fat envelope. So I think, what I think, I know that what the person said is true. So the law of sowing and reaping is actually true.
Yes, and even in the world, this same thing applies. I've attended either burial ceremonies or weddings where contributions of people are, for instance, in one of such ceremonies, okay, we packaged all the gifts that people brought, opened the book, and started writing each gift and the amount that was, sorry, each gift and the name of the person who brought it. You understand? And doing this helps the person who received the gift to know who and who contributed towards the success of this burial ceremony or wedding, as in case may be. So that in that person's turn, kind of the same thing that the person gave to me is almost kind of the same thing I'll give to that person. So, brothers, I hope you're listening and watching this program to understand that we are encouraging you from today henceforth to attend weddings. Attend weddings, especially your brethren's weddings. Yes, we should attend weddings and contribute. If need be for you that if the occasion arises that you should contribute 5,000, 2,000, 3,000. Please contribute to the success of that wedding. Um, Somebody is asking a question here. I think this should be the last. He said one of the speakers talked about paying for wedding hall is on the brother's shoulders. Please, sir, my question is this. Is there any church rule that forbids couples from wedding a church altar, that is a watchman altar, as well as conducting reception in that same venue? I think this could also help in cutting costs as well. Pastor Emma, I will leave this. I'll hand over this one to you.
Okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong in wedding on watchman's altar. I have also confronted the church authority on this, and they said there's a committee that is set to harmonize marriage operation and wedding operations in all the watchman locations, so that everybody will be doing the same thing. But I know that there are locations. I have attended weddings where they wedded on watchman altar and then went to have their reception somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then there are also locations that have both they use both the church hall to do the church wedding, and then carry out the reception outside where they have a large compound or a vacant hall. There's nothing that is wrong about that. The issue is that we are not in harmony for now in that regard, and the church have discovered the disparity and decided now to begin to work through that committee, harmonize the operations. So I think that you are in order actually, but there's nothing wrong about it. Some dioceses, some locations are actually doing that. They're actually doing that. It's on. It depends on where you are. Where you are may not be doing the same thing that the other people are doing, but there's a committee now at national level to to harmonize our wedding and marriage operations.
So with that, we hope that the wedding will. We hope that hopefully the committee will come out with their final proposal on
That's our,
harmonization of wedding programs.
we
Pastor
want
Emma,
word on our altar.
okay. Pastor Emma, somebody says, let's see your face more often in live programs because I don't laugh tire. So I'm in support of that. I think we have exhausted the points for now. If there's going to be any last words, I think we should be giving out the last word now, and then we'll conclude and call it a night. If there's going to be a last word now, it's now we'll have
Okay,
to give the last word. Yeah.
okay. My last word.
Well, uh,
If we if a sister cannot contribute financially towards her own wedding, and she doesn't also have the capacity to try to assist in cutting costs, you are
Okay.
still going to the market and pointing high graded materials that you cannot afford and you are not assisting to pay for, then I think that that brother may be making a very big mistake. It may be a risk. That may be a very risky venture if he eventually goes on to manage to wed that sister. Because I pity some brothers, their carnality will not allow them to look well. You see fine girl with this and that, and you don't look the other side of the character. Now you want to kill yourself to satisfy the lady, only to come into the marriage, and this lady will deal with you. Because by their fruits you shall know the people that will become problematic in the marriage. How can you don't have money, you are not contributing to the wedding. Okay, you are not even making every effort to ensure that this brother doesn't have to spend so much since you are not contributing. You are not bringing 1 naira, but you are insisting this has to be done. This has to be done. Then, sister, your your marriageability is questionable. The brother too, who is like a truck, they are pushing you and pushing you, whether inside the gutter, anywhere they push you, you enter. Your deliverance, I am waiting for you personally. If you know any such brothers, bring them for me. Let us deliver their brain. This one is deliverance of the brain. You cannot be getting into a marriage and you don't have a say. You don't have a say. You want to please others and displease yourself. May God forgive you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, sir, for that serious hammer. And I hope our brothers are learning and hearing. Bro Paul, I don't know if you have any last words for
Yeah.
our audience. We can't hear you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
All right. So the only thing I would say is let the couple let them see plan their wedding. This is their wedding. There's no super wedding. There's no high class. There's the best wedding in the world. If you can't get a high class wedding now, do a low budget one, and maybe in your fifth anniversary, when you guys work together as husband and wife, when you
Yeah.
hustle and work together with God's blessing, in your fifth year anniversary, it, maybe by then you people would have been big. You can create a very big anniversary. And if you want to let the whole world know that God has blessed you, can do it. But for now, just cut your clothes according to your size. In social media, use social media, some of the people you see on social media, there's a way they do it. So we cannot just come here and see it and say so, but it's everyone. Just try to cut your clothes according to your size. That's what I want to say.
All right, thank you very much. For those who did not hear him clearly, he said if it says he's saying that you have to cut your coat according to your clothes or according to your size, and if you're not able to do a very big wedding, that you can go ahead, do a small something, but when it comes to marriage anniversary, you can celebrate it in a very big way. Uh-huh. I wanted to ask Sister Uche to also give us a summary. So my own conclusive conclusion here also um, is that from here, from what all our speakers have said, you can see that it is possible for you to actually do a 500K wedding according to your plan. Whatever it is you have laid down, you can actually achieve it. If it's more than that, you can achieve it. Sister Uche, we want to hear what are your final words before we go off. Call it a night in this program. As a sister, what are your final words either to the brothers or to the sister on this particular wedding project? We are listening to you.
Okay, what I would want to say to the brothers is, you know, like he says, have a budget and work towards the budget, plan ahead, and at the end, you just have to cut your coat according to your size. And for the
Okay.
sister, I would say that you are a helpmeet. You're meant to support your would-be husband, so you shouldn't be on the side of overspending.
Okay.
Help if you don't have the money, help to beat down prices instead of hiking it or doing nothing. That's all, that is also a good contribution a sister can do. And also consider that after the wedding, always put in your mind that after the wedding there is a marriage, and that is the real deal. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So, brethren who are listening to us, ladies and gentlemen, we have to cut our both are coming to our close. We may have to come back again to do 2.0 wedding, 500K wedding budget 2.0, when I believe by then every one of us must have had a stable network. We can hear each other clearly. So you should be aware that we may come back to do this program again in a better way when Barrister is also around and every other person. I want you to also know that Sister Uche Obona is an event planner. So for those who are coming up with weddings, she can plan your wedding for you. Just contact her, right? Yeah, contact
Yeah, feel free to do
yeah,
so.
Uche Obona. She can decorate for you, right?
Yeah,
You can
very well.
decorate, you can organize drinks and whatever that people need. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for tuning in this program. Your presence here and your contribution has been worthwhile, and we thank you so much for joining us. Want to say here, good night and have a wonderful day in church tomorrow. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.